Diane, what time is the business meeting?
10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay, the cooling center will be open next week, Monday through Thursday. So at this point, we're supposed to be in the 90 degrees those 4 days. So we will be open. And thank you to the usual staffers. We have plenty of staffing at this time. But I want you to feel free to drop in anyway if you're around. Let's see. Okay. Does anybody have any other announcements?
Nice transition here.
Any questions? We are such a compliant group. Okay, it's time for offering. That's you, Kathy. So our offering today is for the local church budget. So that means anything loose that you put in the offering little basket thing will go to the church budget. Shall we pray? Dear Jesus, thank you for being here today with us, and thank you for blessing us with everybody that's here. And Lord, we just have such praise and thanks in our heart for you today. Bless this offering in Jesus' name. Amen.
When he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're
worship Him with Hosanna. I see the King of glory, coming on the clouds with fire. The Lord shakes, the Lord shakes. I see His love and mercy, washing over all our sins. The people sing,
So how are you all doing today? Of course, Steve back there, I'm not quite sure of whatever Michael thinks is all that necessary. We're going to have a little bit of different kind of thing going on today where I anticipate a lot of interaction from everybody here. Actually, I don't know why I'm there we go. So, would you, if you have actually, you can choose to or not to. I think that the basis of what we're going to talk about today is going to be something that everybody is familiar with. I shouldn't say everybody is familiar with, but what comes to your mind when you think of John 3:16?
The most popular verse in the Bible was football game.
Football game, yeah, okay. Fair enough. What comes to mind with John 3:16? Anyone? Forgiveness, freedom.
And God loves us.
God loves us. And inclusiveness. Yeah? Those are wonderful. Wonderful. Well, today we're going to spend some time focusing on and sharing together experiences and our relationship to the verses in John 3:16, and we're going to take this all the way through to 21 today. And so, let's start off with John 3:16 for today. Go ahead, because we have this probably memorized, a lot of us. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, whosoever believes in Him does not have perish, but have everlasting life. Pretty awesome, huh?
Indeed.
It's interesting that we all remember the same version.
Isn't it, probably? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't read it from my living. I was going to probably get stumbled up even more. So,
The New Living Translation, it starts out, for this is how God loved the world.
how God loved the world. Does that mean anything more to you than just what it says?
To me, that means this isn't all there is. That's good.
But yeah, that's just not what it's about.
Yeah, I love you all, but you can't have my son.
Right. And He didn't come for just certain people, right? He didn't come for just the people that were looking for Him to come, right?
I also like the tense of the verse, it's not past tense, it's not looking forward, it's a statement. There's not a beginning and an end, it's a constant.
It does require you to do something.
Believe. Believe. Would that even be an action? Right? I think we make that as more complicated sometimes too.
Yes.
Right?
And I'm an expert.
Yeah, who here, raise your hand if you're an expert at making this complicated. All right, now let's form a circle. You introduce ourselves, right? All right, so moving on to 17. He did not send His Son into the world to condemn it, but to save it. Not to condemn it, but to save it. How many messages or how many of us see things and hear things that portray a God of condemnation.
Say that again, ask them.
How many of us have experienced and seen things in this world that portray God as a God of condemnation?
I think I have.
Right.
About all the organized
When you walk
religions.
into jail, you come through something, you know it's there. But then you get it on it's not. And when you know better, you hit it like that. Right. Because you knew better, you thought about it, you thought God was guilty. You know, might not be like Freddie, that's my experience.
Right. Yeah, Bill?
I think it's unfortunate that some Christian churches portray God in the wrong light, so that there's a sense of condemnation that comes along with it. The fact is, we're all born condemned in Adam. I mean, it's just, we're already condemned. God didn't have to condemn us. It was already a fact. Release us from that condemnation.
Well, and as we're, our human nature, when we want to bring people to an understanding of what we understand, I can see it not being too difficult to go in the direction of a fear-based approach to communicate, hey, this is, turn from your ways. You've got to, because this is right, that's wrong, and if you don't, and focus on that so much, that's our human nature. That's the sin that we live inside of us.
Well, the enemy wants us to focus on the judgment part.
That's right.
On the shame, he tells us to leave behind. Our sins are as far as the east is from the west, and the bottom of the ocean to him when we ask for forgiveness. And then our job is just to look at him and believe. And saying it's interesting, it says he did not come to judge the world, and neither did he, because he wants us to do the same. It's to focus on him
And he wouldn't be saying, I didn't come to judge the world, but I commission you to do that. I don't believe that's you are now empowered. Here's the scepter of you are now knight of judgment. Yes.
I think the God of this world is the one that's responsible for blinding our eyes and creating the image of our Father as a bully, a gentleman, a wrathful God. Even pointing to that verse that God so loved this world that He gave Messiah for us, His Son. And but yet He would turn that around and make that look like what an evil God that was to force a sacrifice upon somebody else for our judgment. And they turn that around so subtly that if you're not careful and you're looking into those things, even the word says there's strong delusion that because we love not the truth, right, we believe that lie. And so the world has gone on after that. You see the symbols in all of the corporate worlds of government that are under this umbrella of Luciferianism, and they're expecting him to show up. So they want this one to be the one that gave us the wisdom and the freedom. So they turned the truth into a lie, and they exchanged it for a false idol idea.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, God gave His Son, but Jesus also freely gave Himself. Yes. He made the decision.
Chose.
So,
Yeah.
just like we have free choice. Yes.
You did, I can't remember anything that I've ever read that said that you just said, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to do this. Is there? I'm asking the whole, I've never read it. I know I haven't.
That time when things got to be unbearable on the cross.
Yeah.
He said, take this on me.
Asking if there was another way.
Is there another way?
Yeah, if there was any way that my brothers and sisters could be fatherly way. I think he was asking the father for wisdom.
That passage where he says at the cross he's bleeding because he's under so much stress and pressure to fulfill his purpose. He says, take this cup from me. You know, a lot of people attribute the fact that he didn't want to go to the cross. But that's contrary to what the rest of the word says. It says he found it joyful to go to that cross and to fulfill his purpose. It was the fact that because we reject that offering, he sets a standard in the world. And it's our ultimate gift and our choice, our free will to choose what that standard, or to walk away and be away from that standard and ultimately reap the destruction of the lack of protection and covering that comes through accepting his offering. And we wind up losing out because we missed it.
I also think about how Jesus had his life aligned with God's and his will and the direction and the heart of what was to happen. It was not about himself. It was way bigger than himself. And, you know, it helps to see that piece of humanness on the cross because we all go, oh man, I can relate to that. Because we respond to pain. I mean, pain is, you know, ooh, ouch, you know, what's the game? Sorry, you know, we're, oh, sorry. Give me my hands back, you know. But he was so aligned with God's will, and he had such a heart for all of us, for everyone. And it was his decision, volunteering to do it.
He doesn't want to judge the world. Okay? That's where he was struggling with. Because with the cup of redemption also came the responsibility of judgment. Too much is given, much is required. It works that way at every level of our faith and our calling, you know. It says the one who has with great wisdom comes great sorrow. Because you see that you can't force anything upon somebody else's will. And they have to accept it. When they turn away from it, they suffer wrath. That's the cup of wrath. You get one or the other. There's no middle ground. He says, I wish you'd be either hot or cold.
But that's not something God imposes on the person.
Right.
Cup of wrath, that's their choice. Yeah, that comes from choosing.
Sometimes it isn't a choice. What about children that are born and they don't walk? They're in a wheelchair.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? That was put on them?
Well, you see, there's the wisdom of God is foolishness in our understanding. And there have been people that have been great witnesses and testimonies to not have had something. Like you have had legs all your life. They didn't have legs. So they learned how to cope and manage. Our Creator has given us great gifts of overcoming. The kingdom is for overcoming. And we're living born in a fallen world, and the enemy would like you to focus on the things that are a result of that fall instead of our Creator's goodness. And that's where the world is pushed away from Him, because we see that as wrath against ourselves. But it was not God that put that on us. It was the enemy that brought that in, because Adam gave himself over to a jurisdiction of death.
I mean, there are all sorts of things that we see that are just real. I mean, it's like that's a lousy, predicament, a lousy situation, and one that we were, we're born into this world in all sorts of scenarios, homes
They're
and
living
situations.
their lives and learning a lesson from that.
Well, how about Helen Keller? Look at the great accomplishment she got. She became a great witness and a testimony for everybody that's had a hardship or something to overcome, and she became a believer, had a great fellowship and worship the Creator just like we do in her heart.
Yeah.
So that's where your relationship with. It's all about your relationship with Him, not your relationship in the outer world.
And I think the point is too that God's intent was never for us to live in this flawed world.
It's
And it's not
temporary.
fair.
I
It isn't.
think that
Because this one person that was in a wheelchair, they told her when she was little, if she believed in Jesus, that she would walk again. She would never walk. It was like,
Maybe not in this life, but the next life, just think about the glory and she's going to enjoy. She's going to
I'm
receive.
just saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's true. And there's so much, the more struggle we face in this world, the more joy that is just waiting for us. Because when you and I face something that, just, I'm trying to think of an example. I'm sure you guys can think of plenty where you're just really, you have it rough, or at least you think you have it rough. And, but all of a sudden you experience the benefit of a positive end down the road. You're going to appreciate that, the joys more, even on this earth, than you would have had not had that experience. And so I know that's kind of, for someone going through a tough time, or in a tough situation, that doesn't work. That doesn't, it's not helpful. But at the same time, that is reality. That there is joy, there is hope. God gave us all choice, which, and it started with Adam, or starting with Lucifer, that puts us in the situation that we're in right now. But at the same time, he did have, with that choice, he took what he had in his control and his power, and that was the option that we could still have, even after being on this world, to still get out of this world and to experience the world that he has intended for us. And I find that to be just awesome.
You know, we also have a tendency to look at things that are suffering that are relative to our personal lifestyles that we're used to. You know, American might think they're really suffering because they don't have any shoes, but in Africa they run around without shoes all the time. And you know, you think that your life is so hard without shoes until you meet a man without legs. You know, you were talking about a child born without legs, right? So we have a tendency to look too much upon ourselves and focus until we begin to reach out to the needs of others, and then we begin to see the love of giving and our nature that becomes like our Father. And we share that because he comes into our lives and we make ourselves an extension of his body.
God brings good out of everything that travels
Yes.
around.
Well, let's go on and move on to verse 18. There is no judgment awaiting those who trust him. But those who do not trust him have already been judged for not believing in the only Son of God. Their judgment is based on this fact. The light from heaven came into the world, but they loved the darkness more than the light, for their actions were evil. They hate the light because they want to sin in the darkness. They stay away from the light for fear their sins will be exposed and they will be punished. But those who do what is right come to the light gladly, so everyone can see that they are doing what God wants. Any thoughts?
There was a time in my life that I couldn't even get out of bed. And it's not that, I mean, I've been a sinner in my life, and probably to some extreme, but anyhow, there came a point in time where I dealt with that stuff. I really looked back in a lot, years, months, several months, if not years, looking at, how I was living and stuff. And after I was done with all of that, it's just different. I lay my head down, It's not any place that I'm not, scared to walk into. Somebody could ask me anything. And I give you a straight answer one way or another. So before that, I'd do anything to escape a conversation. Anything, about time it got personal or anything about me that it was going to come out or something I didn't know what to say. I mean, that's how I got into it now.
There's freedom in the transparency, and that not everybody wants to choose the light. And that's our choice.
So when I first read that, I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Y'all want God to see, people to see what we're doing with God. But then I look over here and it also says, or can see God
we have a tendency in this world to be attracted to things that we like and those that are like us, that we identify with. And, you know, it takes a while to develop that, those type of desires and habits and stuff. But in the spiritual world, there's a law that works in this world as well as the spiritual world. And when our Messiah talked about the law and the spirit, he was talking to the Pharisees because they lived everything outside. And they were attracted to those that were like themselves. They liked the darkness. They hid in the darkness. They scammed, they connived a way to exploit the people and how to you know, do an espionage on our Messiah, right? So, but in the spiritual world, he says, you say this, but I tell you, if you think such a thing, you've already done it. I recognize in the spiritual world, when we're not bound by the limitations of the flesh, where there's time and space, as soon as you think something, it's made manifest in a spiritual world. So we get to practice here, because he can't allow us to enter in with our foul thoughts and things into a world where there's no such thing as time or resistance against us, because he wants to give us all things freely. And we're going to have an eternal state where everything is given and we'd be able to become like him. But we can't enter into that here. We got a law of karma here that's like that. It's called attraction too. You reap what you sow. What you think about begins to manifest in our lives.
I look at that just a little bit differently. I look at that we're not going to be happy in heaven if we don't believe in God and want him as our Savior. And he wants us to be happy. He loves us. He is love. And he doesn't want us there if we're not going to be happy. And so when we make that choice, it's not about what he has in heaven for us. It's that, are we going to be happy there? You're not going to be happy if you're not fully in.
He gives you the desire of your heart. And I think, you know, that we're those who want to be in heaven and want to be with him are going to be there. And to me, the other thing about the light and the darkness, the incredible thing to me is all light comes from him. And when you, at whatever point you realize, you know, I remember a long time ago, I think it was in Missouri, we went down in some cave, and you go way, way down, and it is like so dark. I mean, I haven't really experienced that kind of darkness before, where it's just like you can't see anything, and then a flashlight comes on, or, you know, they turn something on, and it's like, wow, the awareness that there's light there. And to me, the amazing thing, going back to he loved the world so much he gave his son, he realized the darkness we're in, and his light casts out all darkness. And it's I mean, that's amazing grace. And when we read that, we can focus on, and it's not our place to figure out who doesn't accept the light. It's not our place to point that out. It's our place to say, thank you, Lord, that you came and you're shining your light on us, that we can escape this darkness. And like Diane said, you know, when it comes down to it, he's going to look at each of us and say, who do you say that I am? And do you want to be with me? He's not going to force himself on us. And if someone doesn't want to be there out of his love, he's not going to force them to be in that light.
He doesn't want us to be miserable.
No.
And so why would he want us to be there in a miserable state if he knows that's what it's going to be?
But I think that his grace and his sufficiency and his arm reached out so greatly to save us. I know for myself, I don't understand the depth of his grace and how far he'll go to grab somebody out of darkness. That goes beyond so we can try, and that's when we get into troubles, when we try to contemplate, oh man, is that person, is there a darkness so great that he can't reach them? Absolutely not.
too, I'm gonna put this sign, Jessica, between darkness, light. It's that light, it's when we're in that light that he's transforming us. The light helps us to grow, makes us more like him.
I've thought of and used the analogy of a room kind of similar to this one, where most of the lighting, before we just turned the lights on when we actually started singing and stuff, but before that, there really wasn't, only light in here was the outside light, right? Imagine that being the case, and you've got these windows, we're covering them with curtains of pride and with kind of self-preservation, and we by doing that we're not allowing the light of Jesus to shine into our hearts and our lives and reflect it and allow his light to be shown to the world around us. But when you allow your barriers and yourself get out of the way and open those windows, all of a sudden God has an opportunity. And his opportunity, he's able to use us. He's able to shine through us. He's able to reach more people when we are opened up like that. So I like that analogy.
And you think of like the forest, and when I love to be out in the forest and the light starts to stream in, just even one little ray of light, and it takes just one little opening in God's way can like make a huge, huge burst of light in there and take away the darkness. In God, in our weakness and in spite of our, until we see him again face to face, that's when we will change and we'll be like him, when we believe. But until then, in spite of our things that he's working on and removing from us and recreating us, it's in spite of those things that we are beautiful and we're able to show his glory and honor. Because like Diane was saying, it's not about us really, it's about him and what he's doing. And then we have that testimony to share. Like, wow, look at, I struggle with this or that, and wow, look at what God's doing in me. So,
It's about him.
yeah.
And we get in the way. There's so many ways to get in the way. We could probably put down a list of ways of getting in the way. I'm sure we would not run out of things to say. Like it was Demetrius said that back there, that I'm an expert. I know about that. Anyone have any? I just want to give you an opportunity to share if you can have a personal experience that really relates well to shining in a dark place, shining our light, seeing what Jesus has done in a situation like that in your life. I'll give you an opportunity to share. If you don't, that's fine. If there isn't anybody, no pressure or anything. But just, before we sing again, just anyone? Yes, Steve.
Hallelujah. This is really interesting. A while back, I'm a songwriter. I like to write. I get inspired by the Spirit, and He gives me automatic writing. Sometimes He inspires me to tell stories through lyrics. I wrote something He called, I titled Diamond in the Rough. And I just gave you a short synopsis on it. It says everything in a diamond's life starts out in the center of the earth in darkness. Soft, malleable, carbon-based substance. And the more heat, the more pressure it gets, it begins to compress. It's really hard. It turns so hard, it's one of the hardest substances on the earth. But in the middle of all that pressure, there's still weakness and flaws that are in the life of what is developing in the dark center of the earth, in the darkness. So you get a jeweler comes along and he knows how to look within the earth and find something that he sees value in. And he says that he shines a light on and he looks at it under an examination of great magnification. And he sees the flaws in that piece of mineral, and he begins to chip away at it, taking away everything that's hindering the refraction or the glory of what would be the light that's being presented to it. So when he's finished with it, taking everything out except for the very subtle things of the past that are left in the remnants of his past life, that's what gives it value, because we can culture a perfect diamond, and it's just a zirconium, it may be worth $10 a carat. But a diamond that has been harvested out of the earth and chipped away until it gets the flaws, give it its clarity or its color. It refracts the light. It gets in the way of the light, but it also shines a greater glory. That's why we're called human. We're light beings. We're hue. The hue is the quality of light. It's the contrast. It's everything that makes up the character of the diamond, or the light that was pulled out of the earth. Now, what does a jeweler do when he's done the most perfect stone that he can imagine? He'll take it and say, well, what kind of cut am I going to do with it? What am I cut it for? Well, he'll say, I want to show off the royal beauty of this stone. So he puts it up against a royal blue or a violet velvet, right? But when you really want to show a contrast and glorify the light, you take that stone, you put it up against black velvet, the darkest blackness you can see. Then you take the glory, the white light, and you shine a pure light on that stone. And then you can see the quality of the workmanship of the one that crafted it. And that which has been the testimony of where that stone has come from. And it glorified in the colors and the rainbows and the different natures of each stone that gives its own value.
Yeah. And anyone have a personal example? All right, well, let's go ahead and sing. And what I'm going to do is, if you haven't noticed, you may not take notes of this sort of thing, but we've already done all the songs on your piece of paper. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick one for us to close with.
You mean on the page?
Yeah, pick one from the page. Pick one. Yeah, but let's do it again.
Stand.
as we leave this place and be reminded that the light is your light, and it comes from you and only you, Lord. And we welcome that light in our lives. We invite that light, Lord, to be your light to shine in the world around us and the people we interact with, our families, our friends, people on our heart, Lord, we know, Lord, are on your heart too. So we entrust those fears and those concerns and those, where that focus is, Lord, we give that to you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.